Hi YouTube. Well, this is a little bit of an unusual video in that I don't know that I've seen any other videos online about this, but I've found us in the position where we've had to install two mobility scooter lifts. So my wife has become handicapped, and so we had to install a mobility scooter in her car. And so when she first got disabled, we had a very small car, and so we're going to look at that one first. I'll probably do a separate video on the other one. But the first car we had when she became disabled was a little Scion XB, and it's a really small car. And so I did some investigating, and I couldn't find any information on how to possibly put a scooter lift in such a small car. And even contacting the lift companies, they were no help. They were just saying that's too small a car or too small a vehicle, and so they were no help at all. So I didn't even know what lift to buy. So I just took a shot in the dark, and I found an open box lift, and managed to figure it out. And it took a little bit of fooling around, but I want to show you what we ended up with, and that it actually does work. So here's a Scion XB. Very small car, awesome car by the way. I highly recommend these. They are great little cars. This is a 2015. It's the last year they were made, and that is such a shame because it's a great little car. Down the side. Let's see. I'm going to move you to a tripod. Hang on. Oops. And there you go. Works perfectly. And there you go, just fits right in, no problem at all. Okay, so again, like I said, we have the Scion XB, a very small hatchback car, and we lift up the tailgate and there's the lift. I had no idea what I should get. I couldn't find any information that was really helpful at all, so I was just shooting in the dark. So this was the AL-055-12, and they call it a trunk lift, and it did take some fooling around. The weight of the lift flexes this shaft quite a bit, so I raised it up as high as I could, and it just barely clears, and I got a little bit of tape on that so it doesn't bug the upholstery. But once the scooter's on that, there's at least an inch of clearance. And I cut some off of this. I forget how long. I took probably about 2 inches off so that I could get as high as I could while still leaving room on the width. So I had to scoot over far enough to get the scooter in, but I also needed to be high enough to get the scooter in. So it did it did take some fooling around, and I had to cut off the post, and then I adjusted the height of the lift arm, whatever you want to call it, to be able to just clear the roof liner. And you'll see in the video when it goes in, she has a large scooter, and when it goes in, I kind of have to rock it for the wheels to clear the bottom of the door here. But it does work. I did have to remove basically all the passenger interior, so all the seat stuff has come out and all the hatch stuff has come out. I've kept the spare tire for basically so we have a spare tire, but also it helps support the scooter. I built a little platform that rests on the spare tire and then has a little block over in the corner to support it. And this has actually worked very, very well. It makes it so easy to get her to her doctor's appointments. And now she can't do this herself. Some people would be able to, but this is a manual rotation. So it lifts and lowers, but then you have to do the rotation yourself. Which again, for this, it worked out just fine. Now the install, this is just, I got the bolts and things, but the other hardware came with it. And this is just the standard mounting brackets that it had. And I kind of tucked it around the spare tire. And so this base is a separate piece. So it made it a little bit easier, or not too bad to install it, but the challenge was just finding a right spot where I could get as much height as possible, but you also need the width because of the angle of the lift arm. You need to keep it as long as possible so you can get the height you need to clear the scooter. The actual lift, I can't complain about it. It works just fine. I don't have any function issues at all. The only very, very minor thing is that even though I connected everything the way it calls for in the instructions, the up and down are backwards, but so what? They work. Functionally, it's fine. It's clearly fairly light duty. I forget what the weight limit on this lift is. I think it's 225 pounds, something like that. And I wouldn't exceed that. I'd stay within that limit because, like I talked about a little while ago, it does flex quite a bit as you're installing the scooter. But it's fine. It's safe. I'm not at all concerned about that. But I wouldn't push it beyond the limit rating on it. So I know there's not a lot of folks out there that this video is going to be helpful for, but I hope for those very few people that this is actually beneficial for you. I hope it gives you a little more information than is out there online. Thanks, guys. You have a great day. Oh, and if you wouldn't mind, I'd appreciate if you'd like and subscribe. Thanks.